Good evening, folks. So, what I'm out to do this evening is compare a crop sensor Fujifilm x-t3, it's the camera I normally shoot with, and we're going to compare it to a full frame Nikon Z6 or C6 if you're American. So, anyone that shoots crop sensor camera, you're always going to be thinking, is there a wee bit better, a bit more detail, a bit more dynamic range out of a full frame sensor? And it's something I've thought about. Sometimes I've thought about switching and things like that, and then luckily I have a good friend, so when I was talking to him, he told me to just come and borrow all his gear for a week, and I can compare them side by side, take like for like shots. So we're just going to cut the two lenses brought tonight. I'm putting the 56mm 1.4 on my Fuji, and I'm putting the 85mm 1.8 on the Nikon. So given the crop factor, that's pretty relative. You'll get the same field of view anyway. Obviously you get different compression and stuff out of the 85mm lens, but so I should get a relative field of view to actually do some sample comparisons. I've already done a few last night, so I will put those in the video as well at the end and let you see the difference. To be honest, there's not as big a difference as I thought there would be, which you'll see during the video. Obviously some things you can't get away from. I mean, it's inevitable, but like for instance, a slightly shallower depth of field. But if you've got the right lenses on your crop sensor camera and you pay for pro glass and get really good stuff, then you're going to get damn close to what you're going to get at full frame. I honestly myself thought there'd be more detail, a lot more detail in the full frame sensor, and I was pleasantly surprised to see how close my Fuji gear actually comes to it. So we're going to just pull up here at Kern and Lock. I say I've got an odd lens choice on, 85mm lens, really field of view on both, but we'll just do some close-up things there and some detail shots, and you'll be able to see a difference. And I'll do a wee bit of talking through as well and see what I think. Yeah, folks, so this is Kern and Lock. Pretty cool spot. Straight at the bat there, I see a cool shot of a fisherman sitting here at the side of the lake. So we're going to take a shot with each camera in the 45, or sorry, the 85. And we'll see how we go from there, okay? Now we'll go with the Nikon. It's actually so difficult to shoot and try and get the phone footage of it at the same time. So, AF performance, I'm going to be honest, I think it's pretty close. I think they're as quick as each other. There's times the eye autofocus on the Z6 seems more sticky, but other times just normal single point on continuous. Sometimes the Nikon seems to struggle, especially if it's backlit. Maybe I'm just doing something wrong, but it seems to struggle very, very slightly. So, it's a bit cool shot here. Sort of close up this stuff with the sunset behind it. Okay, if we can see here, if we can get a close up. It's going to be quite difficult to do. So on continuous focus. And then we'll go with the Nikon. Try roughly the same composition. and I've both of them just set in aperture priority, and I'm using back button focus and keeping it in continuous. So again, I don't know if you picked up well there, but you can see the focus is pretty fast on each camera. I might have a perfect subject here. Just gonna come over this. So I have to try and get this. Obviously I'm just shooting all these in landscape, because to be honest it's too difficult to try and record with my phone and to try and get a shot. Okay, so still just walking. So regarding handling, trying to share Fuji, definitely a smaller footprint. I mean, this is what I shoot with, so I'm very used to it. I do keep a grip on it. This hand grip on the side here, which makes it more comfortable. Very comfortable to shoot with, very lightweight. The Nikon, definitely not much heavier, still a lightweight camera, but the grip on the Nikon is unbelievably better. Definitely more comfortable in your hand. But again, for it looking a lot larger, there really isn't that big a difference in the weight. So I really wouldn't be bothered carrying either one of them. Shooting weddings with them really wouldn't annoy me. So we'll try here and we'll focus on just one blade of grass. It's sitting up where the hell this is. We'll focus on one blade of it. Get the backlit of the sun, we'll see what it turns out like. Yeah, so we just got a pretty epic shot. This dude here, it's down with the sun backlighting him. It was pretty cool. Again, the Fuji seemed to focus no problem on it. You get no problem at all. And the Nikon seemed to struggle slightly. Now, I'm not using IAF or any of that. Stuff I really don't use any of that stuff, to be honest. But it was just a single square, continuous focus, back button focus. It should have had no problem. It was a silhouette almost. But it seemed, as soon as I went near his head and there's a wee bit of like foreground, or either the background, just dark shadows behind his head, it seemed to play about a little lot. It seemed to jump and stutter. Whereas the Fuji didn't. But I say I'll edit the files and I'll post them now in the video as well. But as far as both image quality goes, they're so close, but I'm so used to Fuji colors. I think that's probably what I prefer. But again, you guys might look at the video and say, oh, the Nikon's far more vibrant, far better colors. You might prefer it. It's completely personal choice. But the main thing I really notice is there's a slight bit more detail with full frame, but nowhere near what I was expecting. And that's a good thing, you know. But for me to switch systems, it was going to cost a fortune. So, but yeah, if you're ever thinking about switching, or thinking about doing something, best thing to do is borrow or rent and actually test it out for yourself. Because a lot of the time, don't go by YouTube reviewers and things like that, someone telling you something's so great, or you need this to be professional, or you must shoot full frame, or you must shoot in manual, or all this nonsense. If you're making good photos, you're making photos you love, who really cares about the rest of this stuff? Let's be honest. It's all bullshit. This is what's important. Getting out and doing something, you know? So, I think what I will say though, I like to have seen back there, even to the viewfinder, I said you can, the dynamic range, that the viewfinder seems to illuminate shadows in the Nikon, so you can actually see what's happening a lot better. Not real dark scene there with the silhouette of the fisherman. It's quite hard for me to actually see the silhouette, and to up the exposure slightly in the Fuji and stuff, it definitely displayed it a bit darker. Viewfinder just wasn't as clear. When it comes to editing the files, dynamic range, I mean it's physics. It's always gonna be more dynamic range and a bigger sensor. And from what I played about from last night as well, there's definitely more dynamic range. You can lift the shadows more on the Nikon. Highlights, I'm not really sure about. I think you might be able to pull back a little bit more highlights on the Fuji. But I know Fuji, I mean, I never really underexpose anything and that much where I have to lift shadows 2.5 stops. But left them 1 stop, 1.5, no problem whatsoever. Nikon, just messing about this morning, definitely you can push the shadows 2, maybe even 3 stops on the Z6. Dynamic range is absolutely fantastic. But again, it's not the way I shoot, so it's not really something I need. The main thing I was looking for was more detail, which you get very slightly off. It's not really negligible, and better AF. Eye autofocus on the Nikon, definitely better, definitely stickier. But sharpness and detail in the image still seems very comparable to my Fuji. And the AF, to be honest, seems definitely as quick in the Fuji. AF in Fuji isn't great. But again, it's not something I use. I use single point on the normal single square and continuous back button focus a lot of the time at weddings. And that just seems to work really well. Brides coming down the aisle, things like that, no problem whatsoever. Tack sharp images. And anything I have shot side by side with Nikon so far, I mean, I'm not blown away by the sharpness detail in Nikon, so it's so close, it's hard to call. So we should probably talk about configuration, how these things actually work, how they're laid out. The Fuji, obviously a lot more of an old school design. The dry ISO dial, shutter speed dial, exposure comp. Most Fuji lenses have an aperture ring about here. This is a Sigma lens, so it doesn't have the aperture ring, so you just change your aperture with the dial in the front. But again, a lovely handle camera. I use them a lot, so it's very comfortable to me. Some people don't like the shutter button up here. They prefer a shutter button sort of down here, where the Nikon is and Canon is. It doesn't really bother me, I don't know any different. I've used this for so long. I will say the handling, again, as you can see there, how deep this grip is fantastic on the Nikon. Tap LCD display, brilliant in the Nikon as well for quickly checking settings. But again, I can quickly check that on my Fuji with the dials. And you can also get Fujifilm cameras with this top display. Standard POSM dial, 85-1.8 lens. So because it's a 56, I mean, they're very comparable. Back screen, I'd probably say is about the same as the Fuji. Definitely both very clear screens. I think both viewfinders are meant to be sort of 3 million dots, but the Z6 one definitely seems, well, it's more magnification or whatever it doesn't display, it definitely seems like a better display. But all in all, there's really not much in it. I mean, even size difference. The thing is, the camera body isn't that different. It's when you're a full frame sensor, it's when you get onto the lenses. I mean, to cover that sensor is going to be a large lens, no matter what way you look at it. To think that these two lenses are equivalent and give the same field of view is absolutely insane. So if you're on about a wedding day and you've got two of these hanging off you, or two of these, you're definitely going to be less cumbersome with these. You know, I like things small and compact, and so you just run about a house and go in different rooms and the things aren't banging off walls, etc. You know. But yeah, but definitely a damn good camera. Damn good camera. The one thing, as I said, that would really affect my decision is one x-t3 card. Now, x-t3 cards are meant to be more robust, feel a lot less apparently than SD cards, but I've never had an SD card feel, so you know, take that with a pinch of salt. But yeah, so really very, very comparable. Okay folks, at this point of the video I'm just going to pull up a selection of files. Anything with a white frame is from the Fujifilm x-t3, and all the other photos are from Nikon Z6, so you can judge for yourself.